Hello, this is Ashley Davis. Today we're going to be talking about Competency 6 on the PPR. And before we get started, there is a handout that you are going to print out before you watch this video, or while you're watching this video. You're going to need that. It just has all of the sections that I'm going to kind of give an overview of. It has the definition of what I think the teacher needs to do, and then below has like a section you can write notes if there's anything on the test that if there's anything on the slides that you didn't know, or if you wanted to remember that later, there's a spot for that. So Competency 6 means the teacher understands strategies for creating an organized and productive learning environment and for managing student behavior. So the big part of this is, organized and productive learning environment. So what does this mean to you? Okay, so my first big point is establishing rules right away. So this means that on the first day of school, you are establishing the rules. So before school starts, you are already having those rules in place. And when you first see that student come in, you're explaining, we are walking with our walking feet to go put your backpack away on this hook, and model how you do that, because you cannot expect them to know how to do anything. You have to model how you want them to put their backpack on their hook. If they have a water bottle, it goes here. That is a rule. Okay? That is a rule. They have to know where those things go. So even when they're walking to the cafeteria, they're walking correctly all the way to the cafeteria. You have them sit in a certain order. That is a rule you have. In your classroom, when it's time to get ready to go home, you do it in this order or this way. You first go get your folder, you get your lunchbox, you get your backpack, you get all the things that you may need. And those are rules in your classroom that you have to start on the first day of school. You do not want to get halfway through the year and your classroom cannot walk in a straight line. You don't want that. Because then when the fun stuff comes at the end of the year, you can't do those things because your classroom is out of control. You want to be able to have fun with your classroom, and you want to be able to do it in a safe way. And in order to have 22 little children doing fun things in a safe way is to have rules. And if you cannot start them at the beginning of the year, then you're going to have a hard time halfway through the year. I have seen it every year where the teachers, their best friend at the beginning of the year, and then it gets towards the end and they're like, why is my classroom like this? Well, rules right away. You have to be stern. And so moving on to the next one, organizing the classroom. I feel like this is a big one, especially for me. I have been in a situation where I've had to find something as I was subbing in a classroom, and I didn't know where anything was. I really needed a piece of Velcro because they were doing task cards, and it was during a guided practice, not task cards, but they had to come up to the board and put the card up there, and I needed a piece of Velcro, and I just couldn't find anything. So I think in your classroom, you need to have a spot for your teacher supplies, and you need to have them labeled. That way, when you're teaching and you're doing guided practice or you're doing independent practice, whatever you're doing, you need to know where things are. And not only that, but for your students as well, you need to have a student section. It needs to be organized in a way that they know that if my crayon breaks or if my marker runs out of ink, I can throw it away and go get a new purple marker. Or my glue stick runs out and I know that in this drawer, in this area of the room, I can go get a new one. So that also prevents them from asking you where's the glue? Where's the marker? They already know. Just go get it. Also, something that goes in with organizing your classroom is, do you have a bookshelf? And is it organized in a way where students can know where that certain genre of book is? If they're looking for Junie B. Jones, are they going to find it with the dinosaur books? Like, you need to have them separated in a way that they can find them. Also, is your classroom organized in a way that students are not bumping into each other and causing an argument? Because I know that if my chair was butted up against somebody behind me, I might get frustrated if their chair kept hitting me, especially while I'm trying to do independent work. So that's something to think about. You just don't want to do that. You want to have it the correct way. And organization is the key to a classroom that is successful. I gotta say it, because I have seen where classrooms are not organized and students are running around almost like a chicken with their head cut off. They just don't know where anything is. They don't know what to do. Or do they turn it in? Do they not turn it in? Like, you have to organize your classroom. Next one is behavior management. This is a big one. And I know I said organizing was a big one, but really, this is a big one. You got to know what behavior management means. And I feel like this topic is so broad, but really behavior management is how you are going to correct that student when your rules in your classrooms are broken. So my example that I always talk about is, let's say so-and-so student A came in, they're putting their backpack away, but instead of putting it the right way that you showed them, they come in running in the classroom. They come in running, they throw their backpack, it doesn't even go in the right spot. They put their water bottle in the wrong spot. They throw their lunchbox in the cart. Like, they're just doing all of the wrong things that you have taught him not to. And so behavior management, what are you going to do when that student does that? Are you going to just ignore it and walk away? No, you're going to correct it in a way that is proactive and consistent. You don't want him to continuously come into the classroom acting like that, because one, a student is going to get hurt. And you don't want anybody in your classroom to be getting hurt, especially by something that you could have controlled. So you need to teach them rules. And like I said, establishing rules right away in order to have a safe classroom, that's one of the things. You do not want your students coming in running and step on someone's finger or throwing their backpack and it hits someone's forehead. You got to have a behavior management plan in place. So when that student comes in running, what are you going to do? Correct them, okay? Hey, I noticed that you came in the classroom running. Come with me. Let me show you, model how you do this. Go to all the way to the door. Come in with the student walking to put their backpack down. That way they can put it in the place they know, and you showed them. That way they know 100% one-on-one how they need to put their backpack down. Now they come in the next day, they're still doing it. They're still running. They're still throwing their backpack, and this time it hits a student in the head, which is why the rules were there to begin with, to prevent those things. But not everything is preventable. Sometimes you're going to have students that do not listen. And so that's when the behavior management comes in. You need to have a plan. Behavior management, it's just, you got to have clear expectations. And when those clear expectations are broken, you need to have a plan. So it could be that you have reminded this student over and over again that he needs to put his backpack in the correct way, and he doesn't. Okay, is it a phone call home? Is it a phone call to the office? Is it whatever it might be, whatever consequence you're going to give that child if he cannot get it together? You need to have those in place, and they need to be consistent for each child. You're going to have that student that drives you bonkers. You're going to have those, but you need to be consistent with all of your students. Okay, moving on. Oh, I have a question. Sorry. What is one behavior strategy you will use in your classroom? Okay, so that's my second discussion. What is a behavior strategy? I kind of named a few already, but what is one that you will use in your classroom? Okay. All right, so positive reinforcement. So a big thing on the PPR is not to be negative. So if you're giving a consequence because so-and-so child was not doing what they're supposed to, they threw their backpack, yada, 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 and you gave them a consequence, you need to make sure that you are not taking away something. Okay, then it becomes a negative consequence, and it might get to a point where you do have to take away something. But the big thing on the PPR is that you want to be positive. Okay, think perfect world positive. That student hit a child in the head, and as frustrated as you are because you've explained it a million times how to put your backpack, you still need to be positive. So you're gonna model for that student every single day until they get it. And then when you start to notice that student A comes in, he comes in quiet. He puts his backpack away. He put his water bottle away. He didn't hurt nobody. You praise him. Hey, I noticed you came in today. Really nice. You were quiet. You put your backpack away. Make sure you're listing all the things that they did so they know that you saw them. And you're telling them, I am really proud of you for doing those things. Okay? And then let's say that you do punch cards in your classroom and you're giving him a punch. You gave him a punch for his behavior, and he gets all of his punch cards, or whatever system you do, and he finally gets a reward for his behavior. Give him a privilege, like he gets to sit with a stuffy and during independent work, or he gets to eat in the classroom with a friend, or whatever the positive reward is. It can be anything, but I have noticed that teachers do a lot of privileges and rewards at school, not necessarily something that they take home. I think that works better because they look forward to coming to school. So yeah. Okay, so the last one is building relationships. Now, I know I said that all the other ones are really important, but building relationships is a big one. Your students, they come to school and they see you more times during the day than their own parents. So you need to remember that student that's giving you a hard time may have a hard life at home. So when they come to school, the only connection they may be getting is through you. So you need to be building a relationship with them from day one. Yes, have the roles, and yes, have the organization, but building relationships is the most important thing you need to do. Because without that relationship, they are not going to listen to your roles. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And if they know that you do not like them, they're going to cause you more problems than you can ever imagine. You have to make sure that you're building that relationship with that student. It can be anything, though. And how we build those relationships is you can sit with that student either at the playground, or you could be monitoring the students and going around and asking them, like, what are you playing today? Like, that is so cool. Or what are you digging today? What are you finding? Can you go find this? Can you, like different things to start the conversation. Also, during independent work, if they're all finished and you notice that they have some free time, go and sit with them and talk to them about what do they do over the weekend. Ask them questions that don't pertain to school. You want to build that relationship with them. And so you could talk about, well, what's your favorite sports team? And for me, I have no knowledge about sports. So I might have to go and Google some questions about the best baseball team there is, or whatever. And then you can come back and you can ask them a question about baseball. And they would be so amazed that you knew something about what they did. So, yep, that's another way you can build relationships. And then something else is just making sure that you're greeting your students when they come in. That's a big thing. You're starting your day with a positive with a positive attitude. Good morning. How are you? I'm so glad that you came. That builds relationships. Something I have learned when I have subbed in a really challenging classroom, there was a student that needed my undivided attention when he was trying to tell me something. So he was trying to answer a question, or he had questions. Oops, I went too fast. But he was trying to answer a question, and I had to give him my full attention so he didn't lose his mind. Okay, so one of my discussion questions was, my mind just went blank. What is one way that you're going to build relationships with your students? So that's my third question. So I know it's kind of dark, but my exit ticket is, this is the activity. So you will take the quiz, on the Quizlet. The link is on Canva. So you will click that, take the quiz, and then you will respond on the discussion board of how you did and if you learned anything new you didn't already know. Okay? So that's it. Bye.